Hello everyone. So today I'm gonna be doing another like pick a card, but it's not pick a card because I'm not using cards. I'm using like different objects to represent each pile. So whatever objects you're feeling drawn to, if you heard something about the object in passing right before this video, you had a conversation and it relates to one of these objects, one of these characters, then that's the power message for you. So today we're going to be doing a pick a pile, and this is going to be what your inner child needs, and I feel like inner child healing can be so important because oftentimes it isn't looked at as productive, but when you don't prioritize that part of yourself, I feel like you act in a way to get those needs fulfilled, and it may not be in the best ways. Like, for example, like you might procrastinate because you don't feel like you got the playtime you wanted for that day. So when you get off work, you don't get to tend to your goals because you don't feel fulfilled, and it's partly because of your inner child needs something. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So first pile is going to be, I can't remember her name. I really can't remember her name. I think it's Kuromi. If it's not, she kind of looks like a bunny. She's a Sanrio character. So if you're into Hello Kitty, this pile could be for you. This is pile 1. So if you're into like Hello Kitty, Kuromi, if that's not the name, please let me know, but that's gonna be the first pile. Second pile is gonna be this teddy bear, and it's like a Hershey teddy bear. I think I got this like with some chocolate or something as a gift. So if you're drawn to Hershey's, if you're drawn to teddy bears, if you heard something about a teddy bear or a bear recently, if you heard something about chocolate recently, this pile could be for you. So these are 2 piles. So it's Kuromi, this little bunny Sanrio character, and then the bear. Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 2. So you can pause it to figure out which pile is for you, but I'm going to continue. So this is pile 1. Okay, so it's going to just be what your inner child needs to kind of like maybe like move forward. Maybe there's unresolved trauma, or maybe there's just a part of you that feels unfulfilled, and this could be why. So we're going to start with an oracle card first. So why does pile 1 feel like this? What does their inner child need? What does pile 1's inner child need? It's like 2 cards came out for the oracle. So we're gonna start with this first one. Birthing a new age, birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. So I'm feeling like your inner child just needs to prioritize creation. Okay, maybe there's certain things that you did when you were younger. Maybe you didn't have the resources that you needed to do what you really wanted to do, or maybe when you were doing like creating things, it was seen as something like unproductive. So it's like, okay, when you were trying to draw, or when you were trying to maybe like create music or something like that when you were younger, it's like maybe your parents told you go back to homework, or that's not productive, that's not, a good use of your time, you need to be focusing on scholarships, college, etc. So that part of your inner child, you almost associate creation with something unproductive. So that's something that your inner child is prioritizing, just overall creation. This could be an energy of maybe even like birthing like physical things. It could be like maybe a project that you've had on the back burner. Maybe you want to start a clothing line. Maybe you want to release like an album or something like that. Maybe it's even just like a craft or some kind of project that's just been sitting, in a basket or just left unfinished. That's something that you need to prioritize because it's going to cause a ripple effect for you. So the one thing, maybe you, for example, like there's a project that you're thinking about, but you don't place it as a priority because you're placing work as a priority. That needs to be done. That needs to be done first and foremost. But little do you know, like this little creation that you're going to do is going to create like a ripple effect for so many other things in your life, and it is going to be productive. You know, it is going to urge you in the right area, the right direction. So that's something that you just need to prioritize, because it's going to cause a chain reaction. And I'm feeling like it's out of lack of confidence too. So I'm feeling like whatever you may have created maybe when you were younger, or these gifts that you know you have, but maybe somebody like played down on them, or like kind of made it seem like you're not that talented, that's something you might need to speak on to yourself. Your inner child needs that kind of reassurance, like, you know, what you're doing, you just creating is brave. You just creating is inspiring in itself, you know, regardless of the outcome. And having those affirmations and speaking to that part of yourself that has this like resistance when you're about to try to create, or you're about to try to write, or you're about to try to, you know, post a video, that part of yourself that's thinking that it's cringe or thinking that it's unproductive because of someone that told you something in the past. It's also an energy of like speaking louder than that voice in your head, you know. So it's almost like you might have a person in your head, like a person in your childhood, that is narrating these thoughts. Like, for example, you think, you know, you're not talented enough, you're not good enough. Whose voice is it? Is it your voice, or is it your mom's voice? Was it your dad's voice? Was it your brother's voice? Was it, you know, an old friend's voice? Was it your old teacher's voice? Whose voice is it? And speaking affirmations to counteract that thing. So it's you saying maybe you're not the best writer, saying that I am a talented writer, to counteract that voice and to speak louder than it. And hopefully that voice starts becoming more and more quiet the more you affirm the opposite of it, if that makes sense. So that's the first card. Second card, just go hand in hand. And purple is a heavy energy for you, so maybe you need to wear purple. Maybe you need to use purple crystals like amethyst. I can't think of another one right now, but amethyst, I think, was it fluorite? I think it's fluorite. That might be a good crystal for you. But just purple overall, because it's feeling like purple's related to the crown chakra, and also just having that knowing, that intuition, acting from your intuition, and also creating like getting downloads from like a higher being, you know, whether that be God, whether that be the universe, whatever you identify with. So the more you trust yourself, the more you're going to be able to hear these thoughts and also discern which ones are from, you know, possible something bigger than you, or something that, you know, isn't productive, what really isn't productive, like someone or that voice in your head saying that you can't do it, as opposed to the voice in your head that's giving you this idea that's saying, hey, on the other end of you completing this, there's so many people you could help with this, you know. So just feeling trust, and that trust is going to open up more ideas through inspiration, but also even like discerning the voices from like maybe higher sources, but also could be like knowing that what you do is going to, I'm sorry, I got a notification, but knowing that what you're going to do is going to help people without receiving the external validation first. So sometimes you receive that external validation and then you create, but no, you're going to get that validation in that that feeling that you're looking for on the other side of doing that thing, you know. So that feeling that you want, that feeling that you're searching for, that feeling of why don't I feel incomplete is on the other side of creation. So creation is a very big theme for you right now. What is one last message I'm going to give you? Pile one. What does your inner child need? Closed mouths don't get fed. So it could be another thing about just, there's resources available to you, okay? There's like all this food on this table, but you see this person in the back, they have nothing on their plate. And the resources are available, but they choose not to ask for food or to get it themselves, you know? So it could be an energy of that, you know? Don't be scared to ask for help. It could be something that happened when you were younger that, you know, caused you to stop asking for help. Maybe when you did ask for help, you were either just, you know, denied, or maybe someone didn't come through for you the way you want them to, or maybe you don't want to be seen as like a beggar or something like that. But know that the people around you are willing and ready to help you. At least somebody is willing and ready to help you, even if it's just something higher than you know, maybe just like whether it be praying, affirmations, and just asking for what you need, and look for it, you know, look for it and be open to what it could show up as. But just know resources are available to you. You might not see them or want to see them. Ask for the discernment to recognize the resources when they do come, as well as just opening up, you know, I would say opening up trust, creating trust in the people around you to show up for you in the way that you need, to create something better. Because I feel like it's an energy of community as well, because I feel like what you're going to create is going to cause a ripple effect and will benefit people around you. And maybe sometimes the more that you communicate your project, the more you might get assistance as far as even like perspectives, you know, like you might hear a different perspective, or something like someone around you might be dealing with a problem that this project could be, you know, the solution for. So it could be motivation on the other end of that as well. So that's what I'm feeling like. So just a recap for pile 1, I'm feeling like what you're looking for, the feelings you're looking for, the feeling of like incompletion is on the other side of creating the project that is on your mind. Have trust that this is going to benefit, you know, a bigger collective than you think. Have trust in yourself and in the idea itself. That idea was given to you for a reason, because the way you're going to execute it and the way you're going to express it is going to hit people in a way that another person couldn't have exactly done, you know. You have creative gifts, creative abilities, and just unique abilities that's definitely going to express this project in a way that's going to benefit so many people. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Resources are there and available to you. You just have to ask for them and have trust that you are deserving of them. So that's what I'm seeing for you, pile number 1. If you like this video, please let me know. Like the video. Maybe if you know somebody that, you know, might be going through a hard time or just needs maybe like creative inspiration, send this video to them. That would be cool. But yeah, that's pile number 1. And thank you so much and have a great day. Bye. Hello. So now we're gonna jump into pile 2. Okay, pile 2. If you chose pile 2, you chose the teddy bear, the Hershey teddy bear. So what do you need to know as far as for your inner child? What does your inner child need? What is your inner child trying to ask for through your needs and urges right now? Let's see. I'm shuffling now. I don't shuffle off camera. I like to like be in the energy and shuffle. So what does pile 2 need to know? What does the inner child need? What does pile 2's inner child need? Oh, that's way too much. What does pile 2's inner child need? What does pile 2 inner child need? Okay. So a couple different things. first thing that came out that was visible to me, this wasn't the first card, but this was the first card that I saw, like it flipped over, was doubt. Doubt. I released the need to know all the answers. I released the need to know all the answers. So you might have an issue with trust a little bit, in that, you know, you need to know everything in order to execute something. You might be in like a stage of like almost like ideation, where you feel like you got to research everything about something in order to do it first, rather than just acting from that curiosity and just going forward in action. You know, you might be using this need for all the answers as a way to procrastinate, if I'm being real with you. And in this need to like know all the answers, the things that you create and the things that you do don't come off in the way that you intended them to come off. So it could be a very heartfelt message, it could be a heartfelt project, it could be, I mean, anything, you know, where you want to come from the heart, or you want to, you have so much passion about this thing, but you're thinking of it too logically. So once it comes out, it loses its magic, pretty much. It loses its magic, it loses its power, it loses its impact on others, because you're coming at it from more of an analytical, logical place rather than a heartfelt place. And I feel like the best art, the best music is received best when it comes from the right intention, and usually from love, usually from passion, usually just from playfulness. So this is really important, I feel like, because most of the people that really pop off, most of the people that really, you know, make it, I feel like are still childlike, still curious, still like to play, you know, in a way. You know, their jobs, people might, like, I don't know if you heard the last pile or if you're watching this all the way through, but either way, if you associate, a lot of people associate playfulness as unproductive, but a lot of the most known celebrities, like actors, they're pretty much playing. You know, they're playing for their career, where they're acting out different roles that aren't them, almost like a kid that will play dress up, or, you know, play house or something like that. That's the same energy, but it's just coming from a more evolved place, but it's still playful, you know. So people are drawn to that playful energy. So come from that energy when you create things, when you do things, when you engage in things. Come at it from curiosity. Just do things. If you want to do something, I'm not saying don't think before you do, but if it's something that isn't at any harm to anybody, like maybe writing a poem or posting something or putting yourself out there, it's like, just do it and you'll figure it out at the other end of it, you know. And I feel like this life is really just to allow us to experience. I feel like when you get too caught up in thinking about it, you don't get to experience life, you know. And I feel like if it was, the purpose of life was to just think all the time, we wouldn't have to be in these physical bodies, you know. We didn't have to be on earth if that was the true purpose of life. The true purpose of life is to really engage, is to create, is to connect with people, and to experience, just enjoy the human experience, you know. So that's really heavy, enjoying the human experience, recognizing you're a human, and don't overthink, don't be a perfectionist as well, because I feel like that perfectionism is also pulling that energy from the creation, that magic from the creation as well, because it's like some of that, especially in the height of AI, mistakes is like a sign of like, oh, a real person created this, you know, as opposed to AI. Nowadays you see poems, you see animations, you see art, and you have to question, is this AI or is this real, before you like it, you know. So those mistakes and that humanness shows this is actually a real person that created this, and there's real emotion behind this and real experience behind this. So that's going to be key for you, is to just stop overthinking. Stop overthinking and to just do. Okay, because as a kid we did not overthink. If we wanted to play, we just played. If we wanted to draw a dog, we just drew a dog. We didn't overthink it. We didn't watch a million YouTube videos before we actually sat down and drew the dog. No, we didn't do that, you know. So just coming at things from a playful place. Next card is take a break. Okay, it's the energy of taking things too serious in this reading. Like you really need to just chill. Like you really need to just chill. It could be an energy of like maybe you need to go on a trip. Maybe not even trying to say spend a whole bunch of money. Like maybe even just like a real like cute, like maybe trip in town or like another small town. Maybe book a cute little Airbnb in a town like in your state, maybe for a night or something like that. Or maybe, I don't know, go visiting a park on the weekend. Or this could even just be using your paid time off or your sick time. Okay, there's this energy too where it's like, because my boss told me this one time, like using your sick time can also be like preventative, you know. So you might not be coughing and hacking and stuff like that, but say you feel like you're feeling burnt out, you feel like you're not thinking straight at work, you know, you feel like, or there's an important thing that arises for you, maybe like a family member that you know needs your help, and you know that if you're at work, rather than going to tend to that thing or giving yourself that time, that could possibly lead to you being sick because you're betraying yourself and you're not, you know, meeting your needs. So that's important, using your paid time off. Okay, use your paid time off. Just take a break. This can even just be if you're constantly studying, you're going back to back to back to back. Just take a minute. Maybe like say if you're studying for like a big test, maybe create like a reward system. Also create like a reward system, like say you study a chapter, maybe you can go be on your phone for 10 minutes, or maybe you can eat a piece of candy or something like that, but make things more fun. But I really feel like you need to take a break though. Like it says, take a break. And also don't burn yourself out. That could be a thing too, where it's just like you're not fulfilling your needs, but once you finally like really resting yourself, you might take a second and get this moment of clarity, like, dang, I'm starting to feel everything I've been working at and doing, you know, because you're not in your body, you're just working. When you take a second and really sit in your body, you're like, dang, I'm really exhausting myself and this isn't sustainable. So take that second, because it's going to give you some clarity and maybe realize that you're working smarter and not harder too. Okay, what's the next message? Death. So we got like a green and red situation. Green is for the heart chakra. Red is more for like security. So death. So I'm feeling like you might get this break from an ending. Okay, something you might be taking too serious might get snatched out your hands, I'm feeling like. Or maybe you just need to put an end to something. Maybe when you put an end to this hustle and bustle, that you're going to be met with this new beginning, this new clarity, this innocence, this fun energy. Because beginnings and like innocence and starting new projects all have that same kind of vibe, where you're just approaching it with this fun, lighthearted, you know, vibe, rather than taking things too serious. You know, the energy of also like beginner's luck too. So yeah, just, I don't know, I just feel like you need to surrender, take a break, and that break, I'm feeling like maybe could be forced, or it could just be you maybe putting it into something that isn't sustainable. Like I was mentioning before, when you take that break, maybe you're really going to sit in your body and realize, oh, this isn't sustainable, this isn't something that I can keep doing and really put my 100% in. I'm really like, it's taking a toll on me. So you can put an end to that, whatever that could be that you're working at so hard that could possibly be depleting your energy, that's not allowing you to create things from a new beginning and give you the energy you need to approach things with curiosity. Maybe because you're using this need for the answers for procrastination, because you don't have enough energy to really put it into the things that you really want to do. So yeah, that's, I think, do I want to give you another message with this? I feel like this is pretty clear though, but I'm gonna give you one extra card. Fear or intuition? Fear or intuition? So I'm feeling like, ooh. I might edit that out, might not, but I'm feeling like you might need to, I just want to adjust this a little bit. Okay, I'm feeling like this, like I was saying before, the need to know on the answers. I'm feeling like you might feel like, oh, I'm not ready yet. You know, I'm doing this because I'm not ready yet, and I want to do things in excellence, and I want to, you know, when I do this, I want it to look like this and look like this, and have these unrealistic expectations. So it's like fear or intuition. Are you doing this from the right place, or are you doing this because you're scared of what could come on the other side of just this playfulness and just putting yourself out there? You know, it's really fear rather than what you think it is, I think, because you feel like what you're doing is productive and you're making a step toward your project, but you're really not. You know, you're just kind of making excuses. I'm sorry, you're kind of making excuses. So, and then I just saw this, I couldn't ignore it. It was at the bottom of the deck. Be mindful of your company. So you might have somebody in your ear that maybe that's another thing, and that's where this death could come from too. You're scared to really move forward with this project, this thing, whatever you're trying to do, because the person around you, it's almost like you're scared to let them know what you're working on. So you keep it in this ideation phase. So it's like you're giving energy to the project, but you don't feel like you can fully cultivate it or really birth it because of who you're around, and that's an issue. So if that is the case, you need to cut them off, okay? You need to cut them off, and that will allow things to just move a whole lot smoother for you. Okay, so those are my messages today. This is what your inner child is trying to say to you. Yeah, if you like this video, let me know. I would appreciate it. But yeah, I hope you have a great day, great rest of your July. I hope your new moon yesterday was nice, and yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day.